Welcome to the Your Living Proof podcast. If you love someone struggling with addiction and are searching for answers, we're so glad you found us. Families are the cornerstone of long-term recovery, yet they often go unsupported. Our mission is to strengthen and support this vital but often overlooked part of the addiction recovery process. We're here to help families understand what their role is and isn't in this journey. Addiction deceives and takes everything you're willing to give. But if you know better, you can do better. And we're here to help you do just that. If you're asking, how can I help my addicted loved one? This is your community.
If you enjoy watching podcasts, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more support and resources between episodes, follow us on Instagram at Your Living Proof or visit our website at yourlivingproof.com. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Your Living Proof podcast.
Hello, hello.
That's not a recording, that's my voice. Hello and welcome back.
He did let me do the intro one time, though. Do you guys remember that? It was probably the best intro there ever was.
Oh, my gosh. I wouldn't argue with that. I do love your voice.
I'm just kidding.
I love your voice. I do. I love everything about you.
Oh, that's
Except
cute.
no one challenges me more than her in the whole wide world.
That's how you know you found a winner.
Is that how it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
You meet your match?
Yeah.
Is it okay to say I'm sometimes intimidated?
Sure.
Should you be scared of your woman?
You should.
Is that a sign of
should.
a healthy relationship?
He found somebody strong enough to tame him a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Took a lifetime, but he did it. Good for you. So happy for you.
Actually, how we met was so hilarious. One time we'll have to share that story. Some of you know it.
Yeah.
What's that Garth Brooks song that we
God bless the broken road. It's not Garth Brooks.
Who is it?
Rascal Flatts.
God bless the broken road that led me straight to you. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
For both of us.
Yeah. That's why it was our wedding song.
But, over 18 years into recovery at this point, I'm like, I did a lot of things. They did a lot of critical things that I instruct and teach people on what their loved one's going to have to do, because it's a path, the formula that everyone who follows has success. But then that ongoing success requires a few mighty miracles, and having you in my life was probably one of the greatest.
What do you want?
I couldn't BS. Hey, by the way, I have a good friend named Paul. If he's listening, hi, Paul. And he always shares this with people in our program and community for parents to understand. But there's a quote inside of AA and in recovery meetings around the world that's you can't bullshit a bullshitter, which is actually one of the most critical reasons why people in addiction or those trying to recover from that have to be in another group of people like them. It's because they've already BS'd everyone in their life.
Yeah.
I can't BS her, so that's probably one of the benefits. But it's a practical reason why these groups of recovery are so important.
It's true.
For your loved one. He cannot BS a room of BSers.
No.
I don't even like using those words. That sounds ridiculous. He can't bullshit a room of bullshitters.
I mean, it's a fact.
Hey, if you haven't joined our school community, we have a great community, easy way for people to introduce themselves to this crazy, difficult situation that they're in, to start understanding the value and the power that you get from working with a professional who's going to give you honest, clear answers and direction, gaining a community of support because you're going to need it.
Yeah,
course,
hop in there.
None of us wanted to be in there. We all wanted to get into like the cold plunge group, like the yoga group, which you should be. But
guys, I was always just trying to live in the Playboy Mansion.
Oh my gosh, her
I'll
and her
admit it.
delusion. She never did drugs, but she had crazy thoughts like that.
And look, I don't live the mansion life, okay? I'm not wearing bunny ears.
That's the most absurd
Feels a little
thing.
bit tragic.
Because she's also like this spiritual giant. So I don't even know. Like you
guys, I don't know either.
She has multiple personality disorder.
Maybe I do.
Maybe we both do. So I don't know. But we need to get back on topic. So thank you for being here. We are going to hear coming soon, when you hear this episode, have some people come on and tell their stories, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, we are.
We're going to have other families that come on to just share their experience. Like, hey, As a family, we were just getting waterboarded by our loved one. We never thought it would get worse. It did. It's the same story for all of you. Here's what changed when we got help. And I'm really hoping that empowers a lot of you to start taking those steps forward. What we hope most of all, whether you're in this country, a different country, whether people in your life know what's going on or have no idea, we hope that this podcast has been a first big stepping stone for some of you to start making sense of the situation and much more clearly, to start empowering people to change. The greatest lie about addiction is that they have to want it for themselves. I'm so tired of it. And having been a former addict, alcoholic myself, if I could go back to when I was in that place, I just want to like punch myself because it was so selfish. But I also would like to smack everyone else in my life to be like, hey, wake up. This isn't going to get any better. There's not going to be a magical day when they just want it for themselves and they just show up one morning being like, I'm ready to change.
Yeah.
Something has to intervene. What doesn't work is trying to intervene in a reaction to something horrible. When you're angry and upset and fearful, no one's ever had success. But when we intervene empowered with a plan in our pocket, full understanding, having healed ourselves, I mean, come on, it works all the time. But a lot of people are just unwilling to take those steps. Most of it boils down to not even just the shame and stigma of it, but the uniqueness. I get so tired of it. Do you know that broken families, maybe families really suffering and struggling, almost easily surrender to say, hey, we need help. But all these amazing families out there firing on all cylinders that have had success and are educated for some reason,
they don't need any help.
They don't. We got this. We're good. We're not like those other people. And they just hold this secret for their loved one. And the only thing that wins, Satan. I'm tired of avoiding it. It is what it is. Addiction is Satan's weapon of choice. He continues to control and manipulate a person while the rest of them are like, oh, looking at this poor person. And they don't realize that he starts to just dig his claws into them too.
Well, he actually controls everyone at that point because he controls what everyone else does.
Which is why we reached out and we had some questions. These are very common questions, but I hope questions that you have, and hopefully some of these answers are really empowering to your situation.
I had like just put up something on Instagram a few weeks ago just saying, hey, if you could go to lunch with Danny, what would you ask him? And so today we're just going to talk about some of those. Sorry, I need some water.
Are you okay? Do you need me?
No. I just need water.
Only once or twice in our marriage have I said, do you need me? And she's like, no, I don't need you. But she needs something.
I just needed water, but I'll survive.
Okay. We can pause and get you water.
No, just a sec. So we're going to go through some of the questions that we got. It's not all of the questions. We'll continue to do this. But I just felt like it would be a really cool opportunity to not only know that other people are asking the same questions you have, but also just to be able to spitfire these to Danny and have him answer these questions just off the cuff. So, are you ready?
Before we start, can I share something real quick?
Yeah.
Maybe you can catch your breath, Blondie.
Yeah.
This is a spiritual battle for a soul. Do not be misled whatsoever. Addiction severs truth and compromises choice greatly. But the deeper damage, like we said, is what it does to everyone else. So this is like, it is not a singular thing. Addiction always starts with a person. And you know what? Most of you have realized that if you look back, you can clearly see that it started to isolate them. Maybe they've detached from old friends, less involved with hobbies or church or certain influences, right? Like it slowly starts to isolate them, but it does so to the family too. They just don't see it because most of us are still doing all the things. We're fulfilling all of our obligations, showing up and going to church. And what ends up happening, please, I've said this a few times, but I'm pleading with you to just take a moment to consider this. Over time, when people do not seek help and try to help a loved one on their own, because your heart's involved, you get manipulated. Because your heart's involved, you don't see things clearly. Let's just accept that. And then slowly, this never happens overnight, Satan will take your faith, your effort, your love, and it slowly turns and twists into a weapon used against yourself and doing nothing but supporting the addiction. Because we start to mistake things like compassion and enabling, boundaries and being Christ-like. It becomes confusing. And then not only are you confused because you're starting to question and doubt your own faith, right? You've been praying like, God, relieve us from this. But eventually everyone in your team, your tribe, your family starts to play a different role. Justice becomes a little more justice. Mercy becomes a little bit more mercy. Sometimes people are wanting to help them. Sometimes people become regretful and resentful towards them. It just starts to create more of a divide, even in the best of families. So many that I've worked with, families are, their dad's an attorney. The parents own a successful business. They have religious callings. They are pillars in the community. But the addiction is doing to them what nothing else in life can. So don't be mistaken by that. You can be you can be a bishop, a pastor, a priest, you could be a psychiatrist, and you could help so many people in life. But if it comes down to someone in your home that you love and care about, you're going to need help.
Amen.
So yeah, list them off. Wrap out some questions. I'm ready.
Oh, okay. Just switch gears real quick there. All right. Which one do I want to start with? Okay. How do I tell my husband that he has a drinking problem?
Oh my gosh. How many hundreds of times? Like convince them. So let's just say you are the person and I'm answering that question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So what you're trying to do is what do we say that's going to magically help them understand?
Yeah. Like he doesn't understand that he has a problem.
You've told him many times, right?
Well, it's more just like, how do I convince him that it's not normal how much he drinks? Like,
okay. What I'm asking is, have you even caught him recently where it became sloppy or out of control?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go. Even if you catch them in the act multiple times, over and over, even if you can clearly see the progression of this, here's the challenge. Stop. Stop. Whether this is your invitation or permission, which I hope for some of you, it is your permission. Stop.
Stop what?
Stop trying to reason with, compromise, negotiate, or speak to a person, prove to a person an act of addiction. Just stop.
Just pretend like it's not happening?
Here's why. Because you've already been doing it. You've already been doing it over and over and over. At times, you had all the evidence. You had a perfect case to prove them wrong. Like it was right there. It just happened. They embarrassed you. They embarrassed themselves. They put your family in risk. And it wasn't the first time. You look back and how many times has this happened? So even in those moments where you could perfectly prove it, if it was in the court of law, you win. I say stop. Why? Because it's exhausting you. It's starting to make you feel like you're crazy.
Yeah.
It's actually starting to make you doubt yourself.
Yeah.
Addiction is the master manipulator. It already manipulated your spouse. I'm sorry. They do not acknowledge the problem they have. They're not only unwilling, unable to see it for what it is. It's the actual disease of addiction that's now scientifically proven. So first of all, I'm sorry, I'm going to just... Are you ready for a couple sucker punches?
Yeah, because I want to know, like, what do I do then?
Your situation would be easier if he was a homeless fentanyl addict laying on the street looking and stinking like one. Because the most dangerous addiction is the high-functioning one, where at moments they do function. At moments they do pull it together. At moments they redirect your thoughts and give you false hope, only for what? The next week, the next day, to fall right back on their face. And what does it do to you? It keeps you stuck on this dangerous ride, up and down, every day becoming hopeless and hopeful, hopeless, hopeful. And most of all, nothing is done because those moments of hope in between prevent you from taking that leap forward. See, you're waiting on them to wake up one day and see the wreckage of their life and be like, oh my gosh, Yes, clearly my life's unmanageable. If they wake up one day, even face first on their own vomit, having crashed the family car, having your kids appalled by them, maybe even letting them know, hey, you scared me last night. You hurt my feelings. You said something mean. Making a scene and embarrassing you in front of your family. What do you think they do? A normal person might take a moment of humility and acknowledge that, humble themselves, ask for forgiveness, do better. I am so sorry to tell you, you're not unique to the millions of other people in your situation, that your loved one's addiction has progressed to a point where it's gone from a dependency to a disease in their brain. So guess what? The moment they feel, even if they feel embarrassed or humiliated, what do?
Go drink.
The underlying learned behaviors during their addiction are first, blame. Oh, it's not my fault. It's because of this. They're blaming someone else or they're blaming something, right? They're in denial of what's going on. And the immediate next thing they do is they go relieve themselves from that pain. And there's one way that they learned how to do that automatically. And to be honest, it doesn't take very long. For most of us to go work through the pain and things we've done wrong, what do you have to do? A lot of effort. Take some time. They go and do it in a matter of 5 seconds, 5 minutes. Boom. Problem solved.
Oh, gosh.
And then when you are back in this blissful state, whatever that is, whatever you're snorting, drinking, smoking, inhaling, you are instantly deceived again. And you feel so good that your brain starts to distort reality and everyone else is the problem. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry, the answer isn't what you wanted, but I hope that you use that permission or invitation to stop. Stop exhausting yourself because it has not yet worked. Instead, I would redirect. First of all, redirect your prayers. God, give me the courage to do something about this situation, to understand and know with conviction that what it is that I need to do for my safety and well-being. Find yourself a community, find yourself a professional, get yourself the tools to start moving forward. And I'm sorry. I just, this one gets me passionate because I've worked with so many people in this situation. And where do they go to instead? Instead of reaching out to like someone like me or a program or community for them, who do they reach out to?
I don't know.
Who have you already gone to and talked to about this?
Family.
Your family. Maybe specific people in your family you trust. Maybe a sister, right?
Yeah.
She might have an opinion about what to do. What about if you go to like a religious leader?
Yeah. Like go talk to the bishop. Tell him what's going on.
First of all, you're going to sugarcoat all of it. You're going to give him half-truths. You're going to beat around the bush like everyone else. He's going to be giving the benefit of the doubt to your spouse because they don't understand the complexity of this either. You might get a different opinion. Mm-hmm. What about your girlfriend at the gym? Maybe her husband was an alcoholic. She's going to go talk to you and she's going to tell you something else. Like, you better run, hide.
Yeah.
You're in danger. Everyone's going to have a different opinion about it. And that's what addiction does.
Yeah.
So go find some unbiased truth from a professional and stop your fixation with him. Do this for you. And I know that is absolutely asinine and it's backwards and it's unfair.
Yeah. Well, because I want him to pay for it. Like I actually want to punish him for what he's done. Like I want him to be accountable.
Claw his eyes out. Make him realize what he's done and see the suffering and pain. I know. It's so unfair, but the way out of this, that's the only way.
Yeah.
You could even, and most people would probably understand, close up shop and move on. Because it'll get to that point where you're going to be forced to.
Yeah.
But what I'm hoping is before that, you find peace because you understood the situation better. You removed all the uniqueness. You set aside all the differing opinions. You understood what the road looked like ahead. You were willing to make the commitments to what that would be. You had a plan in place to offer so that when you make those decisions, it's not from a place of anger or fear. It's you taking power back. Mm. And ironically, most of the time when you do that, your loved one will follow suit. But nobody in your situation sees, oh, I need help. But yes, you actually do, or you will continue to be ragdolled by this demonic thing called addiction.
Dang. That was a good one. Great answer. So helpful.
Your husband's screwed.
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
We're not role-playing anymore.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. No, but I hope that resonates.
Yeah.
And it's the truth. Doesn't matter if he's an alcoholic or what it is, right? I hope you can see yourself in there.
All right. Second question. Oh, this is a good one. Does an addict ever realize the pain they are causing their family?
No. And at the times that they do, I just explained in the previous question, what do?
They escape it.
They escape it.
Feeling it.
Underneath the addictions, underneath these chemical dependencies or content dependencies, whatever. You know what? Porn and sex is a poison. It's a drug. Let's just call it all for what it is. Underneath these poisons are learned behaviors over time that are so deeply rooted. That's usually what starts, right? Like blame, denial, shame, all of these things. But most of all, no, because the second they do feel it, it's gone instantly.
Yeah.
With what they already know best. So if they do have that moment of clarity, it doesn't last very long. And here's what's really sad is it just keeps pushing them down even deeper. They'll go use for that reason to take the pain away. And once again, they failed themselves. They failed you. Their subconscious knows it, but guess what? The addicted brain continues to control the situation. You will never be chosen, nor will your feelings ever matter because something else trumps all of it.
Oh.
So addiction doesn't just change behavior. It actually and quite literally rewires perception. While someone is actively using their ability to fully grasp the depth of pain they're causing, not only is it compromised, it's just almost becomes irrelevant. Now, when I say that, if you were actually putting yourself in the mind of this person, what would your immediate thing be? Would that be something you could understand, or do you think that your unique situation would prevent that?
It's just hard to comprehend. Like,
would you say, "Oh, well, not my Joey"?
Well,
he's really sweet, because sometimes they're sweet.
Because you know that they're sweet. It's more just like that doesn't seem logical. Like, it seems like a dad can't like escape knowing the pain he causes when he leaves his family, right? Like, how could he ever really logically think that's okay and it's not really that big of a deal, or like it won't really affect them? Like, this is actually for the better. Like, sorry, like, you can't actually believe that. Okay.
That's why I always come out immediately and trying to help people understand that this is life or death. And nobody, very few. There are some where they reach out because it is now quite life or death, but others can't see that yet. But the truth is, like, your person, it's not that they don't love the family, they do. What they don't love is themselves. They do love the family, but their world has narrowed down. It's really hard to articulate this because most of you just can't correlate or understand. Let's just use more easier words, or frame of mind to understand. They've become so dependent on something that their world narrows down to survival and relief.
Yeah.
The actual ability to face it is so overwhelming. Plus, some of them just think, well, I'm going to eventually do it. I'm going to eventually face it.
Yeah.
And nothing becomes more permanent than these temporary solutions, which you've heard us share before. They may know that you're hurting. They may even feel bad about it. But understanding the feeling, like understanding and actually being able to feel the weight of that feeling are two different things. You do, they cannot.
Yeah, so it's almost like they know it, but they don't feel it. Whereas, like, the person on the other side is feeling every second in the raw, like getting a root canal with no anesthetic.
Did you know that even if they start recovery, man, this will really feel like a sucker punch. But it's one of the most valuable things of helping people in our community just understand is like real perspective and what to expect. Because even in the beginning stages of recovery, it's so selfish, may even be more selfish than the addiction. Your loved one will eventually understand. I wholeheartedly remember, on average, it's usually a couple months into recovery before they're even able to see outside of themselves and acknowledge. But when I actually came to the realization of how I deeply hurt the people around me, it is one of the reasons that fuels me to continue doing this line of work, because those people are often neglected. But that is overwhelming. So here's a side caveat. Is that the word? Is that the word? Even if your loved one is able to quit, right? This whole thing of I quit, which is such BS. Such BS. There's no such thing as just quitting. It only lasts for a short period of time. As soon as they do quit, not only is the pain excruciating for them physically, but when they start to realize what they've done to everybody else, it's too overwhelming. So what do? If they've quit for a certain amount of time, they can't do it alone. So they go right back.
Yeah.
I am sorry, but your feelings and you will never actually matter. It might be understood or seen. Like they might acknowledge you're crying. This is hard. This is really hard because I can speak from experience, and I'm not different than your loved one or anybody else. Visibly seeing people cry, and it's like, oh my gosh, what do you think the experience I have is? It's not accountability. It's like, I don't know what to do with that. Oh my gosh, that's overwhelming. The building's on fire, so what do?
Yeah, you're going to run.
I run out. Now, I know that isn't fair, and you think that most of you fall victim to thinking, well, they should be able to make a better decision. If they really see how humble I'm being right now and how hurt I am.
I do think that you should be able to make a better freaking decision.
Thank you. And most of you out there probably feel the same way.
Sorry.
Okay, well, my response back is, sorry, if you want out of this situation, you're just going to have to accept the fact that they've lost the ability to choose. It will go down and probably remain a controversial topic forever, which is why, gosh damn it, so many families are losing the battle. There's actually no doubt as to why 95% of people with known addictions never get the help they need, and why 85% of people relapse so quickly even when they try. Everyone thinks that they have this choice, and then people fall victim to think, oh my gosh, they've been clean for 3 weeks. They're no longer using. They should clearly see how much I'm impacted and how I'm affected and make up for it.
Yeah, they can.
Oh, I get really passionate about it.
Well, thank you, because that was extremely helpful. This one actually just broke my heart a little bit. What do me and my kids do while my spouse is in a 12-week program?
Do not make the biggest mistake that everyone does and just take a big sigh of relief and go, oh my gosh, thank goodness, and hope that this program is going to fix your loved one. Oh my gosh. These programs are overrun. They have your loved one for a very limited time. Insurance is usually dictating the amount of time. It is they're serving your loved one as an emergency room visit to stabilize and stop the bleeding. So what do? Well, maybe take 2 or 3 days to sleep. And then immediately get yourself into an intensive program like ours to get yourself the tools and support, because now your role actually plays a much more vital part than it did getting them started. How do we support ongoing recovery? What does that look like? Here's just a little insight. I'm sorry, do you know how many hundreds of treatment centers out there? You're amazing. I love all you guys. Without you, I wouldn't be alive, nor would many other people. There's such a demand for their services that all the ongoing steps they're going to ask your loved one and recommend that they do are really just words, because they have a demand of people coming through their system that's never ending at this point. So they're hoping your loved one listens to their advice. But back in the day, they had to do so much and put so many resources for success stories and a marketing purpose that they got people to do all these steps. Mm-hmm. Now they're just like, well, hope you do it. And they kind of move them on.
Yeah.
And then a family comes home and they're like, what are we supposed to do? And then you're hoping that your loved one regurgitates exactly what they're supposed to do and is also suddenly willing to do all of it. Oh my gosh.
That is so scary.
If you are fortunate enough to get your loved one into a program and you do not invest in a program to learn how to keep them there and how to utilize your boundaries to support ongoing recovery, you're going to join that 85 or higher % that experience a relapse very soon. And if you've already had that in the past and you're like, I don't want that to happen again, the answer is the same.
Dang.
This is your window to get help and guide them through the steps of recovery. Do you get to guarantee it? No. But actually, at this point, your words do matter. Actually, at this point, your boundaries that require their continued steps in recovery, and you don't know what the hell that looks like. Why would you? No one else in your life, I'm sorry, your father or your brother or your best friend, they're not going to know what steps they need to take. not only do you have to learn what those are, but you have to have the continued support and encouragement from someone to hold those boundaries when they get really tested.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you're dealing with another adult, it's like, how do you hold another adult accountable?
Yeah.
Like,
you're considering they're an adult, maybe they're 40 years old, but when they start self-medicating at 17, 16, 14 years old, that's where they are emotionally. You might have a big, strong, mighty person physically, but they stop progressing emotionally the very second they started self-medicating.
oh, I can testify of that.
Hey, I'm catching up.
Okay. This one is hard. Okay. What if the substances my husband is using aren't illegal, but they are destroying him and our life?
Wow. We actually touched this topic in our last podcast episode with kratom and ketamine. I am sorry to break your heart. Your situation, if you have someone that you love that's addicted to meth and fentanyl, we have a chance. Like, we actually have a chance. Or if they've had their 4th DUI, now it's a felony DUI, and it's a life or death situation. They have cirrhosis of the liver. This is where it always ends up. We got a really good chance to get to work. Everyone else, you have a much more difficult situation because you're going to question yourself. They're going to question you. We use the word just in front of everything. If you don't learn how to effectively intervene now, it only gets worse. Some people are like, oh no, well, what if I do intervene and it does get worse? That's often what it takes. But do not sit back and wait. Otherwise, you're going to get your hopes up and your hopes dashed over and over. You're going to age quicker. Your hair is going to gray quicker. It's going to start falling out. You're going to start to deteriorate the relationships in your life. It's going to affect the quality of the relationship you have with your siblings, friends, and children. You'll become obsessed and exhausted that you cannot imagine. So stop waiting for it to get worse, which is what most of the world's doing.
Yeah, but what do you do? What do you do if it's like somebody who's super high functioning and they're using like ketamine, something that's like been prescribed to them?
Okay.
But they're abusing it, obviously, and it's scaring you to death. And they laugh at you when you tell them you're gonna have to put your foot down. Like, what are you gonna do? This is legal. What?
Okay, it's the same thing. Rewinding back to the first question, it's like trying to convince someone who drinks every day and they're an alcoholic.
Yeah. So
go
just
ahead,
don't
stop. Get yourself some help and support so that you can come to a place of firm realization with conviction of what you will and will not tolerate. Even if the world fails you, even if your parents and their parents in this situation start to look at you being like lacking compassion. Oh, I think you're being a little critical or hard on them.
That always happens to the girl. It always happens.
It's bull. It's bull. Why? Because look at our standards as a society. They've collapsed. Everyone's like, well, they're not like those people out on the streets doing meth and fentanyl.
It's always like, oh, I feel bad for him. He's doing his best.
They're way worse. They're a functioning person that's sick, and they're deceiving everyone, not only themselves, but everyone else around them, and it only gets worse. It's so much more dangerous.
So what do you do?
Get yourself help and support, because you're going to understand what to do. You're going to have a plan. Because you did that. When you check these boxes, most people are able to look at themselves differently. They're able to see the situation for what it is instead of what they want it to be. And then we can put in place some things that are boundaries. You know what? I am so much more prepared. I'm so much more clear-minded. I'm in a totally different place that I realize here's what I will and will not accept. And I don't care anymore if I'm judged for it. I'm not going to exhaust myself trying to convince my spouse that, because, in community, when everyone starts telling you that same thing, all of a sudden you go, oh, what? I'm not the only one? Okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do this. What happens is when you get a voice and you start speaking from a place of truth, the addiction gets threatened. And often it might get a little bit worse before it gets better. But guess what? If it does get worse, even though you don't want it to, all of a sudden everyone's going to be like, oh, wow. The focus is on the problem. And maybe instead of being your reaction to it. Plain and simple, you will continue to react to it unless you start learning how to be proactive, and that won't come doing it on your own.
Ooh. So good. Okay, let's just do one more.
Yeah, because my battery's about to die on this thing. If we get shut down, you'll know why.
Okay. Last question, and this is like the most common one. What do I do when they won't listen or get help? I'm calling them out, telling them they have to get help.
You could answer
They don't
this
care.
3 or 4 different ways, or I could answer this 3 or 4 different ways, and everyone will still struggle with the same thing. Every time I meet with a parent, one of the parents is like, I'm done talking. Like, we're going to do this. And the other person's like, well, just the other day I was talking to them and they told me that if they get this next job, things are going to change. Soon as COVID's over, soon as winter's over. Addiction is the most entitled, selfish, master manipulator there is on the planet. It twists the love of even the strongest spouses and parents, starting to cause them to doubt themselves, question their instincts, and carry guilt that was actually never theirs to carry. It takes all of our effort, sacrifice, and over time uses that as a weapon against us. Stop trying to reason with or explain or prove to a person in active addiction they have a problem. Start learning what it's going to take. I don't know why. The success in our program is incredible. The amount of people who do this, who finally just say, okay, we need help. We obviously need to do things different. Because when the family learns this, not only are they prepared with a plan, support, they're constantly reminded, because guess what? With clear directive and even a change, guess what? Next week, they fall victim to the dysfunction because they're exhausted. They got a lot going on. The addiction just steps in and starts to toy with them. They all feel like they're unique over everyone else. I don't know how to more clearly say it. Having been your loved one, my addiction of so many years came to a halt in a matter of months when my family stopped trying to speak to it. They stopped trying to convince me, plead with me, negotiate with me, bribe me, beg me, plead with me. And they just said, this is it. They sought help from a professional. They reached out to a program who taught them, gave them the tools to do this. Eventually, I couldn't manipulate that anymore. And unfortunately, consequences showed up in my life pretty quick. What seemed to be somewhat hidden and dysfunctional became loud, unavoidable, scary, and dangerous. Now, did they want that to happen? No, which is why they actually avoided it for so long. But as soon as it did, it carved out an opportunity where, as consequences showed up simultaneously, they're inserting this perfect, beautiful way out with their knowledge and understanding of it. Things changed. But having come from two of the greatest parents I've ever met on this planet, they could not figure it out on their own. But boy, did they try. And as soon as they surrendered and sought help from someone who understood this and how to speak to it, how to guide them, not just like from step one, but each excruciating step of the process, not only did I change, but they did.
Absolutely.
So I actually look at it as a benefit, a blessing, that my family was forced to seek help and change before I did. And by doing so, we all improved, which has changed everything, how we've approached life ever since, not just with my addiction, but every difficult situation in life. So I hope that helps.
That helps so much. Wow. So we will keep doing this. So if you have any questions you want Danny to answer, please send them in. Like, send us a DM, email us. And I hope that you could hear yourself in some of those scenarios. And if you did, I really hope that right now you go to wherever you're listening to this and you click the links below and you join our school community. And hopefully that will help you get enough strength to get the support you need in our private community. It is transformational.
Please just stop waiting. Please stop waiting for things to get worse, because they always do. This is not only killing millions of people, it's just destroying families. Even in the case your loved one doesn't accept the help that we've outlined, prepared, and perfectly presented them, we can restore sanity and peace to every family who's willing to actually do this.
Amen. And I'm going to close this out with the serenity prayer for families. God, grant me the serenity to accept that I cannot change other people, the courage to change the person that I can, and the wisdom to know that it is me.
Have a great week. Love you guys.
See you guys.